Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my website. M is for mathematics.weebly.com. I am Mr. Vicencio, and we will be learning a little bit about what I have in my website. So, what I have in this website is a lot of things that will be helping us through algebra, and we will be learning about the topic building functions. So, within this website, I have a lot of things like what is algebra? I have some useful links, some digital interactives, some internet use, some web exercises, graphic organizers, assessments, choice boards, lectures, etc. So, in this homepage, I have, algebra. Yeah? So, here I have a little bit of information about what this website will be about, what the different topics will be helping you with, and so forth. And also here I have a little bit of information about myself, so if you want to learn a little bit more, here's some information along with the visual presentation talking about me. So there's me right there. You'll be able to learn a little bit about my life, what I do, and why I love math. I also have a little bit about the topic. So as I said before, we will be learning about building functions and learning a lot about how to create a function and how to distinguish between two different functions and how we can change the original function to something new. So the grade levels for this will be between 8th to 12th grade. I have the California content standards here. One being build a function that models a relationship between two quantities, and another build new functions from existing functions, and here are little subtopics for there. So let's move on. So one of the subtopics that I have here is what is algebra? I know a lot of people don't really have a fond for math in general, and sometimes ask when do we ever use this in life? So you can't really say that with algebra because algebra is everything. Algebra is in all aspects of life. Algebra is the study of mathematical symbols and rules for manipulating those symbols. We use real life problems in algebra to be able to understand them. So here I have a little bit in-depth info about algebra and how it's important for us to learn and how we use algebra in a lot of different fields, which includes mathematics, science, engineering, medicine, and economics. So basically, what we need to learn for, you know, if we want to become engineers, if we want to become doctors, and so forth. And you can read a little bit more on that on the What is Algebra page. Moving on, we have useful links. So here I have a lot of different useful links that will help you more once we are getting in more in depth with the topic of building functions. So I have here Khan Academy, which is a website that has a lot of video lessons and practice problems. So let's say you're having trouble with a certain topic, you can use Khan Academy to look at different video lessons on that topic and will be given the opportunity to practice them using practice problems. Here I also have Desmos, which is an online graphing calculator. So you can pretty much see what your function looks like in a graph. And this is a website that we'll be using a lot throughout this website. I also have Brain Pop, and this site engages students using animated learning videos, games, quizzes, and activities. I also have Quizlet, in which you'll be able to use flashcards and study guides to help you with these topics. I also have some other things in here, like the 10 study habits of highly effective students, 10 ways to help your child succeed. So this is for the parents out there. I also have the website to College Board and ACT, where they give you practice tests and preparation for these exams and classes. I also have just some information to help our students who are suffering through bullying and who want to know a little bit more how to stop bullying and the suicide prevention lifeline so we can help each other out. Moving on, I have digital interactives. So, with this digital student interactive, we have a lot of websites here that will help us throughout learning the topic. We have, as I said before, we have Desmos, which is pretty much where you'll be able to compare and contrast different functions by looking at their graphs and be able to learn a little bit more of building them and transforming them through their graphs. In addition to that, we also have Symbol Lab, in which, let's say you're working on a problem with the teacher and you don't understand it. There's some things that you are having trouble with. Symbol Lab is a great way to go through that problem. You can post a problem on it, and it'll give you a general solution to it. It'll give you their way of how to solve it, and it won't give you a step by step because that might be cheating, but it'll help you enough so you can understand how to solve it on your own. In addition to here, we also have Scratchwork, which is a great website for anyone that wants to create like an online board. We usually create, big poster boards when we're studying for exam, where we add problems, we add functions, we add different examples. This is pretty much that, but online, and you can share it with your friends. So let's say you want to create a group online board with your friends, so can all study together. You can definitely do that. Also, we have math game times, which pretty much helps you with your algebra skills, but using games. And we know how we all love playing games. So moving on, we have internet use. So being on the internet, we need to learn about safety, because a lot of bad things can happen while using the internet. It might be a great place to find information and stuff like that, but we must be able to know how to use it correctly. So here I have a little bit of information about internet safety and how to be aware of different things in the internet, knowing what's good to do on the internet and knowing what's not good to do, like cyberbullying. I have a little information here about cyberbullying, how to prevent that. And also, so we can be able to save our information, because using the internet sometimes gets really risky. Like, let's say you're working on homework or on a problem, and all of a sudden your computer shuts down, it crashes, or it just doesn't save your work. So here I have a little bit more on internet use and how to be able to save your information. Also learning about viruses and how to not get your information leaked or get your computer hacked, to where you may lose a bunch of information. So going back with not losing information, I have a good websites here. We have Dropbox, where you can be able to save files, documents, pictures, information outside of your computer. We also have Google Drive, which is a great way for students to be able to create documents, files, spreadsheets, and PowerPoints online that can be saved through your Google account. And also, if we want to prevent um, using information that isn't academic, we have Google Scholar, where you'll be able to find a lot of scholarly articles and academic sources. Moving on, let's go to Weber sizes. So, when we are learning about the topic of building functions, we will have to exercise those information that we have learned using this building functions Weber size. So this is pretty much an activity that will help us understand a little bit more about functions and their graphs. So if you see here, this is an activity that has a total of 38 points. If we look through it, here we will be given a site that we will have to go through. It might be a website that has a video or presentations or stuff like that. And here I have a couple questions that you will be answering based on that link. So here is the intro to functions. You have to answer the questions here on the right side. Also, we have Desmos, like we were talking about before. So we have parent functions here, and I want you to show me them in graph form. So you'll be using Desmos to create those graphs, screenshot it, and post it on here. In addition, we'll be learning more about transformation of a function. So I can see I have a link to a Khan Academy video. So we will be using Khan Academy a lot to be able to learn about these different transformations. And once you look through that video, you will be able to learn and understand the topic of building functions forwards and backwards. So here I'll be giving you different transformations and asking you to describe them to me. Also, you'll be given parent functions, and you will be creating functions after you do these certain transformations, and so forth. And I have my sources here for that activity. So, moving on, I have graphic organizers. Basically, these graphic organizers will help you once you're studying, let's say for a quiz, for an exam. This will be a great way for you to study and be able to use these graphic organizers to help you understand a little bit more on the topic. So for this graphic organizer, you'll be using an online source called Poplet. And pretty much Poplet is an online website where we'll be able to create graphic organizers like one that I have here. So basically you will be using Desmos. Again, Desmos is a big website that we'll be using here. And with Desmos, you will be able to create all these graphs. So in this graphic organizer, you will be able to choose your own parent function, and you will just add to that parent function. So you will add different types of transformations, and every time you add a transformation, you will have to plug that into Desmos and give me a graph. So here's an example of mine, and yours will be similar to this, just using a different parent function. And I also have my scoring rubric for this. So I'm looking towards the organization, the different transformations that you have, and your graphs, which this graphic organizer will be a total of 12 points. This will pretty much help you a lot when you're building functions, and so you can be able to understand and create your own transformations and functions. So moving on, we have digital assessments. I have two different digital assessments. I have an entry-level assessment and I'll have a summative assessment. Basically, with this entry-level assessment, just to summarize what I have here, I'm pretty much want to know what you know with the subject of building functions. So I want to understand what you know now. So maybe once we're learning about it a little bit more, I might be able to skip through some things, or I might need to go a little bit more in depth with certain topics. So you'll pretty much be taking an online quiz using Kahoot. So once you go to kahoot.it, you will be given a gaming pin and you will be having to answer 10 questions, 5 multiple choice, and 5 true or false. With the summative assessment, you are going to be pretty much creating an online board using one of the digital interactives we talked about earlier, Scratchwork, and you will be put in a groups of 4, and with that group of 4 you will be creating an online board, basically a board that will help you study for like exams and stuff like that. You will have to put in stuff like a parent function and different examples on transformations and stuff like that. Here I have a scoring rubric for it. We will be looking for organization, examples, and the group evaluation. So each person in your group must participate in this and must be able to do what I have down here. So moving on, we'll be going to the choice board. So basically this choice board will help students find the way to test each other and what have been taught already. So I have tested you already. Now I want you to test yourselves. So with this choice board, you will be put into groups of 6 and each group will be given a dice. With that dice, every student must roll a different number. Whatever number you get, you will have to create some sort of activity that is on this choice board. So as you can see, if you pick 1, you will have to create a Kahoot quiz. If you get number 4, you will have to create a loteria type of game and stuff like that. So you will have to create this during the week, and then after you have been done creating it, every Friday we will roll the dice and we will choose what activity your group will be doing for the day. And the final one we have here is lecture. So pretty much I have given you a bunch of videos and links for you to learn about building functions, but here is my lecture video. So I have a little bit more information here about what my lecture will be about. And my lecture here, I have a little presentation where you'll be learning about building functions. And also within this presentation, I have a little guided notes which will pretty much help you go through the presentation, as there will be some examples there that you would have to write down. It gives you some questions about building functions and certain parent functions and the transformations. So as you can see, I'm giving you parent function here, and in the guided notes, they're right there, and you will need to show me some points and some graphs. Also, going in, we'll be learning more about the transformations, so you will have to give me examples of those, as you can see here. And you will be given a graph of a parent function and a transformation, and you will need to show me those transformations within a function. And that's all I have for this website. Thank you for listening.